This segment is brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, just a short drive down the yellow brick road.
My name is Mithila Jugulam. I am a weed physiologist in the agronomy department at Kansas State University. I received funding from Kansas Soybean Commission last year to work on a project on genetic basis of glyphosate resistance in Kochia. So with the last year funding, I was able to hire a graduate student and started the work on glyphosate resistant Kochia. As most of us know, herbicide resistance weeds will pose serious threat to sustainable agriculture, including Kansas. So we have glyphosate resistant in Kochia documented in 2007. Since then, the infestation of glyphosate resistant Kochia across Kansas has increased extensively. My main aim in this research is to determine the inheritance of glyphosate resistance in this weed. By that, we can understand the evolution of resistance to herbicides in wheat, and specifically in this case glyphosate resistance in Kochia. And also by understanding the genetic basis, we can also determine possible spread of this resistance across geographies in Kansas and also across the US. Basically, we developed F1 or first filial generation of a progeny and looked at the resistance to glyphosate in these plants. In addition to that, earlier reports suggested that glyphosate resistance in Kochia is due to increase in EPSPS gene copy number. EPSPS is an enzyme that is the target site for glyphosate in plants. So in resistant plant, the enzyme is produced in excess copies, so that even if we apply a normal field recommended dose of glyphosate, a resistant plant can withstand the glyphosate application, therefore can survive and reproduce. So since we know that resistant plant produce up to 9 copies, we looked in the F1 plants how many copies are present and what is the level of resistance. So far, when we tested several different F1 plants, we found that the F1 progeny consisted of an intermediate number of copies of EPSPS gene. In other words, if we had up to 10 copies for resistant plants, whereas in F1 plants we had anywhere from 3 to 7 copies of this gene. However, having 3 or more copies of this gene is sufficient for a plant to withstand field application dose of glyphosate. Therefore, they have resistance in F1 progeny. So in the next year, what we are interested to do is, if I get successful in getting funds again from Kansas Soybean Commission, we are interested to look at the segregation of resistant or susceptible plants in next generation, that is F2 generation, and determine how many genes are controlling glyphosate resistance in Kochia.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their Checkoff.